Debbie with Kip's Corner. Welcome back, and if you're a new subscriber, welcome. Not that long ago, a subscriber of mine asked me to record how I finish off the journal. If you've been playing along, I do the cover first, but I don't finish it. After I've sewn in the pages, which is done here, then I add the inside sheets, and that's so that I can go over my craft text edge here on the inside. And so I've done that on both the insides. This is the vintage napkin that I had, not napkin, handkerchief, vintage handkerchief, and I've got that sewn on there, and I've got that added in, and so those pockets are now ready to go. So now that that piece is done, now it's time for me to add all of the bling, and I have bling here. The first thing I want to do is put my knob back on. I had it on here temporarily, but then when I put my inside cover page on, I needed to take it off so I could go over the top of that pocket, that inside page. I'm not using my words very well, but right here. I'm going to give that just a little tap with the end of my awl here. See if I can't get that in there nice and tight. Okay, now I wish the knobs were, I wish they had a little bit of a longer shaft on them, because it would make this a whole lot easier. It's pretty snug. So what I do is I take my knob. Hold on, I've got a sweater on and I need to take it off. Okay, so what I do is I take my knob and I put some glossy accents in the inside here, inside this little hole. Not a ton, just well, it would help if the glue would actually open up. I don't put a ton in there, just a couple drops, just enough for it to capture that screw that's going to be on the other side. So that not only am I screwing the two pieces together, but I'm also gluing them together. Glue, whoops, and just a drop, and it'll kind of fall down in there. And then we're going to push, I'm going to push up from the bottom here. That's too much glue. Hold on. It came out a lot faster than I thought it was going to. Okay, here we go. And then I'm just going to hold my thumb on the bottom, and I'm pushing as I'm turning, and I can feel it catch. And so, and then when that dries, that glue dries, which doesn't take long, it will especially be nice and snug. And that's what we want. And I've got a little, I'll get it out here. I've got a little screwdriver here, and I want this piece to be straight, so I'm just gonna turn it a little, and there we go. That's done, and that's on. See? So now I have a knob on the front, and not only do I have a knob on the front, but it's also got some glue. Okay, now let's move to the corners. I've selected gold, or the accent color I'm using here, and so I've selected just some very simple gold corners. I think these are Tim Holtz corners. He has I think these are the mini corners. He has a little more ornate set, and then this plainer set. They both have their purpose. I like to have both of them on hand, just in case. Again, I'm just putting a little dab of glue here. I don't know if you can see that or not. In the corner of the corner. Not enough so that it will ooze out when I put it on, but enough that it will catch and hold. So if that corner is ever loose, it won't fall off. I'm just going to take, these are a very old pair of they're flat nose jewelry plier. I'm just going to give this a little squeeze, not a lot, just enough to sort of squish it down. Like so. if you squeeze too hard, which I do often, and then I'm going to push that again, and now that glue should hold up. If you squeeze too hard, you'll dent the corner piece, the metal piece. Like I said, I've done that often. So speaking from experience, I'm just giving this just a little squeeze. Nothing serious. I don't want to dent it. I squeeze and then I push again just to make sure that it's on there. Now once that glue dries, those should be set. So let's go to the back. I'm going to go ahead and put the corners on, well, since that's what I'm doing. Little dab of glue. If you have E6000, that would work as well as your glue dab. Either one, any kind of a glue that is used in jewelry making or that is good for metal would work. I wouldn't use a tacky or a white glue. I would use something a little sturdier than that. Squeeze and push. I want to make sure that one, and you can tell, you can feel the edge. You've got it set in that corner nicely. That's a little loose. So that ought to tighten up as soon as I squeeze it down. Okay, and then of course I want to come in here and check to make sure that I haven't ripped my paper or anything. And then I usually also give it one more squeeze. Okay, the next thing I want to do is I'm going to attach a piece of sari silk back here that wraps around and hooks on this knob. I've got this one done. You can see a little bit what it looks like. So it's just through a hole, and then once it attaches to the knob, you just push down a little bit, and then that's how you don't have to untie your bow every time. And then you just push down a little bit to hook it back on. And then you've got this pretty little sari silk on the edge of your book. And then as your book thickens, you can loosen this bow and let it, let your mouth open. So I really like, it's my favorite. I really like this type of, the knob closure. Okay, so the way I do that, I want to get my eyelet on the back side lined up with, sorry, speaking of sari silk, I got sari stuff everywhere. I want it lined up here so that it's right there, so that they're lined up, okay? So the way I do that is I hold the book sideways. I hope this is showing up on camera. I hold the book sideways, open it up. If my cover, my outer cover and what I've got going on in here is too thick, I just use an awl. But if it's thin enough that I can use my crocodile, then I use my crocodile because that's just a little bit easier. I slide this on, get my, and here's what I'm doing. Let's see if I can do this. Let's try it one more time. Pick up your paper, get your papers out of the way. Slide this on, okay, got it slid on. Now what I'm doing is I'm lining the bar of the crocodile up with the knob. That's why I put the knob on first, so I can tell that they're going to be lined up properly. And then I just get my hole on there. You gotta be careful when you pull this off not to rip your paper. Okay, so now the hole's there. Now I can put my my eyelet on, which I thought I had here, but I didn't. Now it's a matter of, do I want to use a fat eyelet or a skinny eyelet? A fat one might look nice if I can find the right color. There we go. Let's see if how that one looks. And then I just poke it in from the outside so that my eyelet is there, okay? On these fat eyelets, the same thing, I add glue to them just to make them a little more secure. So just a tiny bit of glue there on the edge, not enough to ooze out, but enough to grab hold and do something. Pop that back on there. And now I can crunch it just like a regular eyelet. And so now my eyelet and my knob match up. Okay, so I don't know if you've ever tried to record a video with a camera that's got a dead battery, but you know, it just doesn't work all that well. Anyway, I'm working on finishing up the bling on this. I've got the corners on, the knob, the eyelet, and now I am just running the sari silk, and it's a piece of sari silk way more than I'm gonna need. I always use it up, the pieces, but I like to start with a really, really long piece so I can trim it down and cut it off later. So what I'm doing is this is just an ironing mat. It's a quilter's wool mat that I'm using, and my little itty bitty cheap little crafting iron that hardly gets hot enough to melt beeswax, but it does a sufficient job. And what I'm trying to do here is flatten out these parts of the sari that they've sewn together. Makes it easier to get through the eyelet, and just getting rid of the really, really bad wrinkles on here. And so if you're using if you iron your sari silk and you're using a big girl iron, a big boy iron, a big person iron, you want to keep it on a fairly low setting. So that's why this iron that doesn't get very hot works well, because I don't want to burn the sari silk. I just want to get rid of the icky wrinkles, or the really, really bad wrinkles. So I've done that, finished it up. And now we've got this big old piece of sari silk here. I'm going to go from the top down and just use a little something to poke it in there. Just enough for me to be able to grab hold of it on the other end. Like that. Okay. I'm going to run this all the way through till I get to the halfway mark again. So I end up with 4 pieces of sari. And you get snagged on these little knots. This is the part where the sari is sewn together. And you got to be careful. There we go. Got to be careful because, a little further, you don't want to rip the sari. So, it doesn't sound good. A little bit further. That's probably pretty close to half. Yeah, close enough. Okay, now I'm going to put a knot here to connect this, just so this doesn't move. So I'm just going to knot this right here. And there's a bunch of different ways of doing this. You can weave this sari into these eyelets pretty much however you'd like. And that's pretty, like so. Okay, next up, I'm going to come around the front. I'm going to pull this piece around, and then I'm going to tie a big bow. I don't want to pull this too tight because I don't have all of the contents in here yet. So I think that's probably good. And I'm just going to make a great big bow here. And, oops, I got my, there we go. And tie the knot. And now I'm just going to take these and separate them out. So we have a nice little loop here. It's a little loose. So let me just go ahead and put the contents, the rest of the contents in here. And that way I'll know how tight I need to make it. So what I've got left here is a couple tags. These are the things that are going in the inside pockets. So I need to put some sari silk on that, but I will come back and do that later. I'm going to slip that in there. And a little journaling card in there. It'd be cute. And then I've got, these are the pieces that I didn't use on the inside. There's another tag. And here's a little notebook. So I'll slip those in there. Something's holding it up. Oh, all right, note to self. Maybe that's, oh, I see what it is. It's this little guy. All right, let's try plan B. Let's put this here. There we go. That works. And let's put this one here, which also works. Okay, now let me check. That was just enough. Let me check this to make sure. Yeah, it needs to get tighter. Just a little bit. But the nice thing about doing this type of closure is that you can loosen your bow or tighten your bow as you add things to your journal. There we go. That's a little bit better. Okay. And that part is done. Okay. Next I want to, if you notice, you might have seen this little ring here. I put this on before I sew in before I glue in the signatures that are sewn. It's from Tim Holtz. I don't know if you can see it or not. It's like a brad, so it goes all the way through with the arms that open up. And then I glue it in, and now I can attach some beads to that. I've got a little bead set here that I've already made. Let's see if I can get it up. It's this beautiful, see it sparkle? These beautiful blue beads, and then just a gold one, and then some clear glass, or clear, I don't know if they're glass or not. And I've got a ring. I'm gonna slip this on. Maybe, if my finger, well here, let's use the tools you've got. Use your tools. Kind of like use your words. Okay, now I'm going to throw it, and then I'm going to put it on the actual journal. Okay. Slip that on there. And sorry for reaching over like that, but I had it on the wrong side of me. Okay, I'm just gonna clip this on. Okay, simple. And there we have our little bead dangling down with the blues. It's really pretty. I just love that bead. The camera probably doesn't do it justice. Okay. One last thing, and then this journal is officially done. I have 3, let's see, what do I have? I've got a pin here. It's sort of like a little safety pin. I'm gonna slip that in here in the front because I think that'll be cute. Let's come over here in the camera. I'm gonna slip that here. Like that. I'm gonna go over a little further. I didn't poke holes in it. There we go. Let's go over here a little bit further. There we go. Okay, there. I got a little pin there. And then what I'm gonna do is add a little dangle to each one of the lace pieces on my each of my signatures. There's 3 signatures in here. This one is just some blue glass beads. I don't know if you can see that or not. On a bulb pin. And I'm just going to slip that up here fairly close to the top. There we go. Cute. And it's just hanging out there. Then I'll go to the second signature. And for the second signature, I'm gonna put this heart. That's cute. Another beautiful bead. It has, let's see if you can see that or not. It's got some green and some specks and things in it. And it's both double-sided. And I just put it on a pin. And so I'm going to put this, I don't want to get it dangling in the way of my closure. So I'm going to come up just a little bit higher, like that. Clip that on. Or not. There we go. And then we have a little heart hanging out there. That's cute. And then the last signature, I've got this, it's a little teacup with a bunny rabbit on it. I don't know if that's zeroing in or not. Hopefully it is. My hands are filthy dirty. Sorry about that. Okay, and let's put this one lower. So I'm gonna put this one down here. Again, if I can get it on there. Okay. Did I do that right? Yep. Cute. There he is, hanging. And this journal is now officially done. So you just push that down a little bit, scrunch that on your knob, and we're done. We've got some dangle here, dangles here. Actually, let me fix that heart. It is in a bad spot. I might need to, I'm gonna raise that up just a little bit. Just a little bit. And whoever, well, I know who this journal is spoken for, is for somebody, but on any of this kind of thing, when you get these journals, this stuff is all movable and removable, and that looks good right there with that rusty paper clip. Okay. All right. And she's done. So next up is going to be a flip through of all of the journals. Well, I'll flip through one of them and just show you some highlights from the other three. They're all done except adding sari silk to one of them. There's the grandfather clock. That's my cue to say goodbye. Thank you so much for watching, and I will be back soon with some flip throughs. Bye.